Welcome to the Arsenal Report, and remember to make subscribe, then continue to enjoy your news. The morning sun hadn't yet climbed above the skyline of North London, but something special was already in the air. It was subtle at first. The early hum of traffic, the sound of crates being unpacked by local cafe owners, and the slow, rising chatter outside Holloway Road Station. But as the light crept over the red brick buildings, the streets began to stir in a way that felt different, almost magical. It was as if the city itself was preparing for a moment that would be remembered for years. And it wasn't wrong. The Emirates Stadium loomed in the distance like a coliseum awaiting its next warriors. The breeze that blew down Hornsey Road carried the sounds of a fan base on edge, excited, anxious, and utterly buzzing with anticipation. Rumors had spread like wildfire over the past 48 hours. 2 names. 2 game changers. 2 players who didn't just fill gaps, they transformed systems. By 7 a.m., the perimeter of London Coney was packed. Not with reporters, yet, but with local supporters, members of the Youth Academy, and die-hard fans who had followed every whisper of this developing story. They were armed with flags, smartphones, and hope. At precisely 7:42 a.m., the gates opened. 2 blacked-out SUVs slowly glided through the training grounds entrance, their matte finish gleaming in the soft morning light. For a moment, the entire world held its breath. From the first vehicle emerged Eberechi. It wasn't just an entrance, it was a statement. Dressed in a sleek cream-colored tracksuit, understated trainers, and a subtle gold chain tucked beneath his hoodie, Ease exuded elegance. But his expression was different from what you'd expect from a man living his dream. It wasn't wide-eyed awe, it was calm. Focused. As if he had known this moment would arrive his entire life. He looked around quietly, at the trees that lined the complex, at the crest carved into the main building's entrance, at the cameras already snapping. Then he walked forward. Every step calculated. Every movement composed. From the second car came Victor Gykores. There was no smile, no wave, just presence. A powerful frame, sharp cheekbones, and eyes that didn't flicker. He wore a dark navy Arsenal jacket zipped up to the collar and moved like a man with a mission. He wasn't here to settle in. He was here to conquer. Standing to greet them was Mikel Arteta, arms folded, dressed in black from head to toe. By his side, Edu Gaspar, the club's sporting director, kept a respectful distance, allowing the moment to belong to the players. Arteta shook both their hands. No media, no sound bites, no PR spins. Just a few quiet words exchanged. Ease nodded. Gykores listened intently. This wasn't a club unveiling, it was a mission briefing. The doors opened, and the 2 were guided through the state-of-the-art medical wing. The staff was already prepared. Monitors flickered, resistance bands were laid out, and body fat analysis machines quietly hummed in the background. Ease's assessment began first. His movement, his balance, the way he carried himself, everything about him screamed natural. He completed lateral agility tests, balance board assessments, and flexibility checks with seamless ease. A technician leaned over to another and whispered, "He moves like silk." In the adjoining room, Gykores was a different story. His session was thunderous. Explosive power drills, 40-meter sprints, vertical jump tests. He punched through every metric like a battering ram. When he was asked to complete a sprint resistance challenge, he did it twice, just to prove he could. Back in the kit room, the new arrivals were handed their shirts. Ease bore the number 10, a shirt once worn by visionaries. Bergkamp, Özil, Wilshere. The symbolism wasn't lost on him. He looked down at the back of the shirt, ran a finger over the number, and quietly said, "Let's make history." Gykores was given the number 9. A shirt that had cursed and elevated men before him. But he wasn't one to care for superstition. As he held the shirt to his chest, he gritted his teeth and muttered, "Let them talk. I'll do the rest on the pitch." The players were then escorted to the indoor pitch for a private media shoot. Giant backdrops with Arsenal crests, smoke machines, and dramatic lighting rigs were set up. Arsenal's marketing team had been preparing this reveal for weeks. Ease stood first. The camera panned across his face, lit with soft lighting. He juggled the ball, stepped into frame, and delivered a no-look pass into the corner net. Silence. Swagger. Poetry. Gykores' shoot was more raw. He was given a ball at the halfway line, turned, and drove forward like a freight train before unleashing a rocket into the top corner. The sound of the ball hitting the net echoed across the indoor field like a gunshot. The camera crew looked at each other, stunned. Outside, word had gotten out. Fans were gathering at the Emirates in growing numbers. Twitter was breaking. Instagram was flooded. EZE is red. The Viking has landed. Arsenal are serious. Soon after, the duo sat down for their official club interviews. EZE was articulate, thoughtful. Arsenal is more than a club to me. The way they play, the philosophy, it matches how I see the game. I've always wanted to play expressive football. This is where I can be free. Gykores was intense. This isn't just another move for me. It's a purpose. I've been hungry to prove I belong at the top. I don't want to just play for Arsenal. I want to win for Arsenal. I want to make this club feared again. As the sun now hung high in the sky, a training session was organized for the afternoon. A few senior players returned early to welcome the new arrivals. Saka, Gykores, Rice, Martinelli, they all made their way onto the pitch. The atmosphere was light, but everyone knew what was happening. Arsenal had just added weapons to an already dangerous Arsenal. In a small-sided match, EZE floated between the lines, dropping deep to collect and glide past defenders with ease. His link-up with Gykores was instant, like two old friends who had been waiting to meet on the pitch their whole lives. Gykores, meanwhile, pressed relentlessly. He bullied defenders, made near-post runs, and scored 2 goals in 7 minutes. One with his left, one with his head. It was a warning shot. This wasn't just hype. This was very, very real. As the day closed, fans outside the stadium began chanting in unison. EZE and the Viking, hear our call. Together we rise, we'll conquer all. The banners flew. The hashtags trended. The statements from rivals grew quieter. Inside the club's control room, Arteta reviewed footage from training, sipping tea in silence. He didn't smile. He didn't need to. He knew. This wasn't just a transfer window. It was a shift in power. And in that quiet North London evening, under the warm orange skies of a summer that would never be forgotten, Arsenal declared their intentions, not with words, but with action. The new kings had arrived.